the tape for this, our main event of the evening. We introduce the champion, Chris, the West Side Strangler Brennan. Let's get it on!
What's up, guys? We're here to go over Bellator 290 in Inglewood, California. I believe it's at the Forum.
Yep.
Stacked card. It's the first fight on CBS, which is pretty cool.
That's a big deal for the sport to get on CBS like that, right?
Is,
I mean, that's
yeah,
awesome.
That's free TV. So,
right?
You know, you typically get a lot of views out of that. Only fight, there's a giant undercard. We're only going to go over one fight, and that is Jornell Lugo and Jalen Bates. We've gone over this fight before, and then I believe something happened to Jalen Bates, and that fight fell through. They tried to put him back on the card that Lucas was trying to get on also, that fell through, and their fight fell through again. And so now this Saturday night, Jalen Bates will take on Jornell Lugo.
He's early. This is his third fight on the undercard, so it's early.
Yeah, and I think one of the reasons that is there's so many fights on the undercard is because they're only putting 3 fights on the main card on CBS, so that stacks everybody else on the undercard. Was it 12?
10.
10? Okay. I'm going to go with the same thing I said the first time. I think Jalen Bates is very good everywhere. I think Jornell Lugo is better everywhere. I think he's a better striker. I think he's a better wrestler. I think he's got better jiu-jitsu. And he's more physical. He just seems like a stronger, more physical guy. I know he's been lifting and getting stronger after his loss to
your favorite.
Sabatello. Yeah, Danny Sabatello. And so I'm really excited for the fight. I wanted to see it last time, and that's why I wanted to go over it again this time. I've said a million times I'm a fan of Jornell, and I can't wait to watch this fight.
We need to get him here. We got to get him on the podcast.
I want him on the podcast. I want him in the room. I want all sorts of things out of that guy.
Yeah,
so
yes.
Hopefully that happens and soon. And my money is, if I was a betting man, and we were allowed to bet on fights, I would bet on Jornell Lugo.
You know, he comes in. He comes in at 8-1. His only losses to Sabatello. Jalen Bates is coming in at 6-0, and that loss to Sabatello was a unanimous decision, but it was a decision. It went the distance, and I mean, I don't think it was far. It was a competitive fight all the way through for sure.
Yeah, it was. You know, Jornell got out wrestled, just like most of the people that fight Sabatello, but Sabatello is either gonna split you with elbows from ground and pound, or he's going to beat you by decision. That's about it.
Yep. Yeah, well, I'm excited to see Jornell on there. I'm stoked to see what he does.
I can't wait for that fight. So
tune in early for that.
On to the main card.
The first fight, even before we hit record, we were just like, I cannot wait for this fight.
This fight is going to be a banger. Sabah Homasi
and Brennan Ward.
So Brennan Ward was on our last card that Luke actually fought on at Mohegan Sun, and I had heard about him, and heard he was tough. This dude shows up in like ripped up army shorts, no shirt, and he's ripped, right, jacked, and just kind of cruising around the hotel, late here, late there, messed up hair, looks like he just got out of bed, and just knocks people's heads off. He is the crowd favorite at Mohegan Sun. Like I believe he's somewhere from up that direction.
Yeah, he is. I think I saw that he's from Waterford, Connecticut.
Yeah, so the crowd went crazy when he walked out. Yeah, they went apeshit as soon as he walked out.
That's awesome.
And so he'll be, I don't know how much of a fan favorite he'll be in LA because Sabah Homasi, I believe, fights. He may be a ATT guy now. I think he is. Does it say?
It just says he's out of East Brunswick, New Jersey, but he's Association as American Top Team.
Yeah, so Nolan's really the hometown favorite there. So Brennan's losses, besides one, have come by sub. There are going to be no subs in this fight. This is one of those fights where 2 guys are going to lose some brain cells. That's what kind of fight this is. I'm excited to watch a fight. This is going to be one of those fights where you hear every time the punches land. Yeah, they're heavy-handed, heavy hitters, and it'll be an exciting fight. I'm gonna go with Brennan Ward.
Okay.
I like Saab Hamasi. I think he has every bit of the chance to win. It's definitely a coin toss, yeah, for sure. I don't even know where he trains. I think Saab Hamasi obviously comes out of the better gym fighting out of American Top Team.
Yeah.
But
They're both coming in on with 2 wins,
2 wins.
and 2 losses before that.
Okay.
So it's kind of interesting how they're coming in on this. Association says Whaling City Boxing, so probably just a small gym from where he grew up, it sounds like.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I'm gonna go with
Brennan Ward looks jacked in these pictures.
He is
and
jacked.
These are welterweights, but his shoulders are round, his arms are big.
I changed my my bet. I'm
Okay.
putting my money on Saab Hamasi. I don't care who wins. It's going to be a great fight either way.
Okay.
I think Brendan Ward could win the fight, and I would be happy. Saab Hamasi could win the fight, and I'd be happy. But I'm going to go with Hamasi just because I'm thinking, coming from ATT, he's got to have a better game plan. He's got to have some sort of a game plan. His coaches can't just say, hey, your chin's real good, your hands are real heavy, go out and test them both, right? There's got to be a better game plan than that, and I don't know that Brennan's will be better than that.
I mean, it's hard to argue. 16-6 versus 17-10. I think from what you're hearing, the fighting styles are similar. If it goes to the ground, do you see anybody having an advantage?
Well, Hamasi, I guess.
Okay.
I don't know. I haven't looked at his record as far as submission losses or wins go, but I know that Brennan's losses, I think besides one KO or TKO, comes by sub. So he's clearly susceptible to the sub on the ground. One of my old students, Fernando Gonzalez, submitted him a few fights back.
So I'm going deep into Hamasi's record. He's got a recent arm triangle that was January 2022. So almost
a
exact.
win?
Yes. Okay. Excuse me. And then his next win by submission actually goes back to 2014. It was in Bellator's Bellator 124.
Right.
Everything after that for Hamasi has been decisions, flying knee, KOs. It's been by strikes. So it doesn't seem like Hamasi is going to the ground.
I don't think any. There's no subs going on in this fight.
Cool. Be a fun fight.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Next fight.
Let me pull it up here. So this is a title fight, right?
Yeah.
Johnny Eblen and Anatoly Tokov.
Anatoly Tokov. So Tokov is a guy who trains a Fedor, and when I had spoken to them a few fights back, they thought they were the next title fight, and then
Johnny
Eblen got the fight and fought Gegard Mousasi.
Yes.
So then this guy now is Johnny Eblen's first title defense. I'm not sure if Gegard didn't want a rematch yet, or if Bellator didn't give it, but I would have thought, because he'd been the champ for a while, that he would have got an immediate rematch. But maybe he wanted to improve some things. Maybe he also, I listened to him on, I forget whose podcast, but he talked about wanting to move up and fight one of the heavyweights. He wanted to move around in weight classes and fight for some kind of for some money fights instead of maybe trying to get the belt back. So Tokov is huge. He's a guy that when I saw him, I thought he was fighting at 205, and apparently he's a 185er, and I couldn't tell how he would make 185. He's not super tall, but his legs, he's very big. He's very thick. So it'll be an interesting fight. I don't think anyone's out wrestling Johnny Eblen in that weight class.
Okay.
So it'll be interesting. The fact that he beat Gegard pretty handily, and I was wrong about that fight that night. I thought it was going to go the way it went with his training partner, Paige Van Zant's husband.
Yeah.
And it didn't, and so he, I then did my homework, and he's a much better wrestler and better overall fighter. So it could be a tough night for Anatoly Tokov, What's his record?
31-2. And he's
so then
he's
again,
on a streak.
Maybe at
I
night
mean,
it won't be. He's
so
another Russian on one of those
1, 2, 3,
streaks.
4, 5, 6, 7. So he's on a 7-fight win streak now with 1 loss.
How'd he lose?
It was a majority decision, so split to Ramazan Amiv. I don't even know who that guy is. This is an M1 challenge. This is in
Russia.
2016. And then his only other loss is in 2011 in some Russian championship league.
That doesn't even count.
And he got KO'd really early in the first round. Other than that, this guy's a warrior. And
Can you see how many fights he has in Bellator?
Yeah, I was just gonna look at that actually. So Bellator's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's 7-0 in Bellator. That's his win streak right now. His last fight was outside of Bellator, and then he's come into Bellator and has gone 7-0.
His last loss?
I'm sorry. Yes, his last loss
so who
was
has he
out.
beat in Bellator?
Francisco France, Vladimir Filipovic. These are tough names, man. Alexander Shlemenko, yeah. Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
I just wanted to make sure that wasn't Crow Cop. Same last name as Crow Cop.
Okay. Gerald Harris.
Tough.
Haracho. Darpinian. I don't know.
Okay.
And then Muhammad Abdallah was his last fight.
Okay.
So I don't recognize a lot of these fighters, but he's on his 7-fight win streak and 31-2 overall. Like you said, he's jacked. Now when you look at Johnny Eblin, his wrestling's superior. What if this doesn't get to the ground? How do you see this going then? Is Johnny going to try and get it to the ground, or?
I mean, he looked good striking with
Gegard?
but he looked good striking with him because he's got a heavy hand and he had wrestling. So the threat of the wrestling, just like, a lot of times that happens, he was able to land the punches. Had he gone out there and had a straight up kickboxing match with Musasi, I don't think he wins, but it's hard to say. What's his record? 11 or 12?
12-0.
12. Yeah, he hasn't tasted defeat yet.
And 7 of those are in Bellator.
How many stoppages of those 7?
Oh, interesting. So, 1, 2, 2.
2.
2.
And
Everything
5
else is
decisions.
Yes.
Yeah. Man, I would love to see Anatoly take this. I don't know that he does, but it would be cool to see it.
It's interesting. What is it? I mean, Eblin's he's an up and comer. I mean, he's new. He came and got the belt. I think he earned it. I think he beat Gegard Mousasi pretty handily.
He did.
But you also just look at, 12-0. He's still. I feel like
yeah.
he's still figuring out who he is as a fighter a little bit.
Yeah, he's. I know a guy that trained with him recently. He actually went to Glory right before the madness up there, and got to train with some guys that I know up there, and they thought they did really well with him. So I'm not sure. I mean, he has the wrestling. He has the wrestling, and that's the equalizer in any fight. If he wrestles, he can win the fight. I don't know that he's able to take down Anatoly Tokov very easily, and enough times. 5 rounds. We'll see. It'll be interesting.
It's great TV. For the fact that they got it on CBS, they picked a great card for this.
There's going to be 3. I believe there's going to be 3 stoppages.
Okay.
Probably all on the feet. In these 3 fights.
So did you decide? Are you going with Tokov on this one?
I'm going with either one.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. That's kind of part of what's so great about this card is that all 3 of these fights are
pick
like
'em. It's a tough one for sure.
Okay. So then the main event, and I know this is exciting. Ryan Bader is going up against Fedor for the second time. We know this is the retirement fight for Fedor.
Yeah.
You met Fedor.
Oh yeah, I met him.
Like six months, a year ago. Weren't you out in Vegas for a fight? Was that when you met him?
No, I was in Phoenix.
Oh, that's right.
For Luke's fight, and Fedor was there with Anatoly Tokov, but that's not who was fighting. Almasov, I believe, or who's the 205? One of the Russians. I forget which one was fighting, but he was there with them, and he was there with Nikita, the smaller guy as well. Anyway, I'd met him in Pride, numerous times a long time ago, but it had been like 15 years, 10 years probably since I'd seen him. He was the GOAT, right? He was the greatest heavyweight of all time for the longest time, and he like others fought past his prime.
Yeah.
Ryan Bader is too much for sure for him now. He asked for this fight. He wanted this to be his last fight.
Fedor did.
Yeah, which is, you gotta give him props for that, because he's already beaten Fedor's heavyweight for the belt and lost to the light heavyweight from Fedor's for his other belt. But at his age, with the miles he's got on him, that's a tough fight to take.
He's getting in the cage at 46 years old.
Is that what he is? 46. My God.
46.
Yeah, I mean, he deserves it if that's what he wants to do. If that's the fight he wants, hopefully he's been training a little bit. I don't think it gets out of the second minute.
He's coming in winning 4 out of his last 5 too.
Fedor?
Yeah.
Against who? What?
Tim Johnson, Quentin Jackson. He lost to Bader that we know. Chael Sonnen in 2018.
How'd he beat Chael?
TKO punches. In the first round, 4 minutes and 46 seconds in round 1.
And then who was right before that?
Frank Mir.
He beat Frank Mir?
Yeah. This is 2018, man. I mean,
Yeah.
I forget, that's still 5 years ago now. It doesn't feel like it, but he's coming in. And I'm not going one way or another. He's 40-6 at all time.
It would be
versus
super
30-7.
cool to see Fedor pull off a win.
Yeah.
I just think Ryan Bader is too big, too strong, too good at wrestling, and hits hard enough to do the damage that needs to be done.
I mean,
I think it unfortunately hurts Ryan losing to him.
yeah.
It does nothing to Fedor, to lose or win, really.
Right.
It's
Right.
cool if he wins, but it only hurts Ryan because Fedor is going to win the belt
Yep.
and go home and be done.
Right. He'll take his helmet and
there's a
then he'll
vacated
vacate
belt
it the next day.
that Ryan's got to fight somebody else for, or somebody, he's got to fight to get back to the belt. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
they'll throw it into a heavyweight GP.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
That would be awesome if they did a Grand Prix with it. A couple weeks ago, we watched a UFC fight with an old timer that got in there for the last fight and maybe was too tough for his own good. Do you see?
2 fights that night. Shogun did the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you think? I mean, is Fedor too tough for his own good in this circumstance?
No, I mean, I think his chin is shot.
Okay.
So I don't think he will take a lot of damage.
Okay.
I think it'll take very little damage to get the job done, unfortunately. I think he's awesome. I think, it was a pleasure to watch him fight all the times that I did. I was on a card with him in Japan.
I was just going to ask if you shared a card with him. That's cool.
And that was awesome, And he's the last emperor, man. He's the guy that everyone feared back then. Like, he was the guy that even when the UFC and Pride were going at the same time, Pride had the best heavyweight on the planet at the time.
Yeah, and
not a lot of organizations have had a better guy than the UFC's champion at the time. UFC typically has, the better guy, the best guy that everyone's trying to fight, and Fedor was the guy.
It looks like his first 25 fights, I'm not even going to count it because it's just so many, but he's got a loss and he's got a no contest. And, so like his first 26 fights, he's going I mean, he just went on just a
loss,
run.
the first start of the 3 losses at the top.
Yeah.
That's after Pride, right?
Yeah, Strike Force.
Yeah. And was the one
2010.
before that Pride?
No, Strike Force
He
as
had
well.
a couple in Strike Force wins?
Yeah,
Good.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he actually went on it looks like, he had Clash of the Nations.
I don't know how many fights it is, but here's what he did. He went on a 10-year win streak. He had a 10-year win streak from the time he started on those wins.
Yeah, April
until-
6th of 2001. He had one no contest in 2004, and then his first loss didn't come till 2010. So, yeah.
10-year win streak. I mean, that's...
I mean, what do you say about that? That's
You
incredible.
can't really say too much. No one else has done that, period. And he was fighting killers with killer rules.
Yeah. And with all of that, you think Bader's just going to be too much for him?
Yeah, I mean, you said it yourself. He's 46 years old.
Do you know how old Bader is?
Bader is up there as well, right? 40?
39.
39, yeah.
Yeah.
And
He looks great.
yeah, but 39 and 46, he's almost got him by 10 years, as old as that is, right? Seven
7
years.
years. Yeah.
7 years he's got him by. And, yeah, again, I like Ryan Bader a lot as well. You know,
Yeah.
we've been on multiple cards with him, and he's been there with other guys. Super nice guy. It'd be cool to see Fedor pull it off. I just think Ryan Bader's too good.
Well, if you haven't tuned in for any of the fights that we've talked about, this is your opportunity.
For sure.
Because
This is going to be a
it's-
great card.
And it's free.
It is
CBS.
free. CBS, first time Bellator is live on CBS. Free TV. Everyone complains that they can never find how to watch it. It's free on CBS.
So that's awesome. Okay, looking forward to it.
All right, guys, we'll see you for the recap.
It is all over.